me. So, there goes a beep. See, we lost like 2 seconds. There's someone on the side of the road there? What are they doing? Oh, it looks like they're changing a tire, maybe. Yes, I didn't actually touch anything in there. I think the doors opened automatically, and the only things I touched were the maps, which I brought with me. So I didn't actually touch anything, so I'm good. And you notice I forgot to wear a mask, and it's bad of me, but fortunately there was no one in there. One person, 2 people came in, but they were on the other side, they didn't go near me. But the sign says that I forgot to check what the masking regulations are in each state. So I'm driving through 3 different states, and every state has different regulations for these things. But fortunately they had a sign in the front that says you are not required to wear a mask if you are fully vaccinated, which is the same as in Maryland. Maryland has that same thing. Anyone who is fully vaccinated is no longer required to wear a mask, which that isn't necessarily a good thing, because people who are vaccinated can still transmit the virus to people who are not vaccinated. So it's not really helping the people who aren't vaccinated. But that's just the regulation right now. So I should have worn a mask, probably just in case there was anyone in there, but I'm not required to, and fortunately there was no one, less than 6 feet away from me. And I'm still being more careful than usual. If anything, the pandemic's been a learning experience. I don't think I sanitized my hands after I went into Lowe's to get. By the way, I was at Lowe's to get batteries. See, the intervalometer only works while it has batteries, so I stopped to get spare batteries. So. And I actually bought rechargeable batteries, but I forgot to bring them. So. But I need to stop buying batteries, period, and put everything on rechargeable batteries. So, and I don't know what the speed limit is in West Virginia. So I'm going what I thought was I don't know if it's different than in Maryland, but I think it might be faster. Look how fast that car's going. To be 65, but then they increased it to 70, which I think is a great thing. Like, if you go to Europe, there's no speed limits, not everywhere, but on the Autobahn. Some parts of the Autobahn, there's speed limits. That's not a myth, that's actually true. If you watch, what was that movie? With, what's his name? Will Ferrell, and he goes to Iceland. What is that? The Eurovision movie. I can't remember. And he's like, there's no speed limits, or was it, anywhere in Europe or something, which is not true. It's not true at all. Just some places there's no speed limits. What percentage of car accidents? It might be the majority of car caused by sleep deprivation, not speeding, but sleep deprivation. Because the sleep deprivation affects your brain the same as intoxication does by alcohol or marijuana. So like one of the first things especially alcohol, I think it goes somewhat to alcohol. Like one of the first things you lose is your judgment. Your difficulty, making rational, logical decisions. Your reaction time is slowed down. It's very, very bad for driving while sleep deprived. difficulty with decision making, problem solving, delayed reaction time. That's all bad. GPS thing says the speed limit is 70, so it has the speed limits already plugged in. So it's the same as Maryland. So let's say it used to be faster. That might have been why they increased it to match West Virginia. So I think it used to be 70 in West Virginia and 65 in Maryland. And I think Maryland increased it to match the West Virginia speed. So the question is just, should I upload the videos as a series of videos of 29 minutes and 59 seconds each? Or should I stitch them together with the 2-second gaps between videos? It might be easier just to upload them as separate videos still. So, because even if I stitch them together, there's going to be those 2-second gaps between videos. It's not continuous. Which, if you're watching, it might be jarring. There's a way I could preview it on BLC, set it up as a video playlist. Set it up as a video playlist, and then it'll automatically play the next video after the first video plays. And I think you can do the same thing on YouTube, maybe. So in that case, if you're using a video playlist, I don't think it matters. It's like, it's like playing a music CD. It's just going to go from one track to the next track. You don't have to have it all as one. If you're ripping a CD audio, you don't have to put it all on one track. You can still use multiple tracks. So, and listen to it that way as a playlist. Alright, let's put some music on. We'll be in Pennsylvania soon. It still says 11. Estimated time of arrival is 11. So.
En exclusivité, total exclusion FWE Radio. Manchester Mayo, Sonic, big up. Mr. Big up, Top Star, Planet Tropical. SAS Radio. Girls are thirsty, skirt fly, blows are thirsty. In a bed, now the hunger and thirsty. Ranking for real skin, smoking, disappointing. Man to woman, me no mean 40. Hey God, change that flow behavior and seek the savior. I never, uptown and Banabai, Ocean me everything, from sundown to sun up and man a raffle. So give me the maquille where we can see them rock. Represent the flag, them wave your hand, them wave your rock, them all the gal, them dirty wine, them all the coke, them get behind them. Any man or no man go find them and try them, now wind them. Everybody from the Caribbean get something on wave let me see. White and blue, Puerto Rican, represent the flag. Put up your flag, everybody put up your flag. Every Trinity represent Trinidad. Put up your flag, every Trinity put up your flag. Oh God, so you want to the back, we came back when Jamaica and Trinity we hold down back with green and gold represent the flag. Put up your flag, everybody put up your flag. West Indian, we have your flag, them with your hand, them with your rock, them all the gal, them dirty wine, them all the thugs them get behind them. Any man or no man go find them and find them and wind them. Like everybody from the Caribbean, get something and wave let me see and spin it, everybody spin it. Let me see you spin it like a propeller. Who you spin it before you left your yard, jumping at your infinite. Make sure that you bring it up some food. You better spin it, Rasta man. Get the flag with philosophy, it's really get them to bring it. Raise the flag, bomb, I'm in it. If you want white color flag, creation, I bring it. Everybody else sing along, me want everything. Marching up your flag, changing the color. And them wave your rock, them all the gal, them dirty wine, them all the toes, them get me. Them have them when them bust me, when they pass me, when they show man, when they surround me, when they stand up me, thing you see them running rapid fire. When them give me, when they pop up me, when they rise up me, when they sound up me, over there have me, over here got me. Say that them have me, thing run down now. They say that them a real hard man. Never get them walk down the street with a chrome line. I don't know what you deal bad man, but you murder people and you sleep with your own kind. I don't know what you deal up man. Use your bad man, road to shield up man. And you murder people and you feel up man. Gunshot don't heal up and them boys be get through. They say them have me, bust me, they sound me, show man me, when they let out me. If you see the girls scatter running rapid fire. So them have me, when them bust me, when them sound me, when they dig up me, over there got me, over here got me. Yes, I know. Them say be careful when them pop the Glock out. Shoot off nose, front keep it drop out. Shoot through the corridor, clear the head back out. I don't care the.
So the nice thing of what I'm doing here is, since the DSLR camera is running directly off of the car vehicle power, I'm not actually using any of the batteries. So like I say, I don't actually have to recharge any of the batteries when I get to the hotel for tomorrow, because everything is still fully charged. I never use the batteries, which is pretty awesome. I was thinking, technically I'm supposed to take everything out of the car and bring it into the hotel, especially like the lenses and the telescopes and the solar filters. It would be faster in the morning if I just left everything in the car. It should be fine. It's not going to be in there for that long. As long as if I park the car after sunrise, and then if I leave before sunrise, it should be fine. The main thing is the temperature changes. So the biggest temperature change is, from daytime to nighttime, and then from nighttime to daytime. But if I park the car at night and I unpark the car at night, it should be fine. So I think I can just leave everything in the car, just other than my suitcase and my phone, basically, and then hope no one robs it. Yeah. We still got a ways to go. And that sign said Cooper's Rock, which I don't think is anywhere near Morgantown. Monongalia County. So I think that's the county that Morgantown's in, maybe. So it might be getting close. I went to Cooper's Rock once. It was so long ago, I can barely remember it. If there's time, I guess I could stop by. I forgot what's there. I can't remember. I don't know if it's an overlook or... I can't remember. Well, I got all those brochures, so I can check the brochures. Or I have internet, too. Mobile data, and then I have Wi-Fi at the hotel. This. Like I say, the big issue for me is storage space. Obviously, the lower, I already reduced the frame rate to 30 frames per second. To use half the storage space is 60 frames per second. But if it starts becoming an issue, option one is drop it further down to 720p, or 60 seconds, something like that. And then the problem is, everything's moving around so fast, on the highway. It's like, if something interesting happens, you're much less likely to get a photo of it. And if you do get a photo of it...
In 1 mile, take exit 10, on right, to West Virginia 43 North, then keep right.
You'd only have one photo at most, you're doing like once every 30 seconds even, something that, happens briefly for like 1 second or 10 seconds, you're going to have one photo at most. Let's say, even at 30 frames per second, anything that happens over a duration of 1 second, I already have 30 photos. Wow. That's why video is so much cooler.
Take exit 10, on right, to West Virginia 43 North, then keep right.
See, it's still giving me bad directions. It thinks that's faster, which might be true, but I need to stay on the interstate, so...
Keep right onto West Virginia 43 North.
I think all of the alternatives might go through the turnpike tolls, so you got some smoke coming up there or something. Looks like smoke. So it could be factories maybe in Morgantown. I don't know if we're that close. Or it could be anything, a sawmill, or so it could be fire.
Drive 9.4 miles on I-68 West.
So this is starting to look a little bit more urban. So,
Continue 9.2 miles on I-68 West.
wow, I don't know if you can see how you probably can't see it. We're crossing some big river here. I don't know what river this is. Oh, maybe it's the Monongalia River. Because we're in Monongalia County. I think that's a river. Big river, though. So once you cross the Continental Divide, you're actually leaving the Chesapeake Bay watershed and entering the Mississippi River watershed. So basically everything east of the Continental Divide, whenever it rains, if you're east of the Continental Divide, all the water that falls out of the sky when it rains ends up in the Chesapeake Bay. But if you're west of the Continental Divide, whenever it rains, all the water that falls out of the sky ends up in the Mississippi River. And there's obviously there's a drainage basin. Where does the water drain to? Hydrological divides. So, like, I think there's a point, should be a point north, where instead of water draining into the Mississippi River, it drains into Lake Erie instead. I don't think any water from the Great Lakes ends up into the Mississippi River, as far as I know. It might not be true, but... here. Wendy's. You see an Arby's. Well, I was gonna say. So by the time this gets on YouTube, you can't give me tips on restaurants. Say, where's the Arby's? Yeah. I'm not hungry yet, but I need to get food somewhere before everything closes down. Otherwise, I end up at a Denny's. Like the only place that serves food 24/7. Sabraton. Sounds interesting. I was thinking of the metal band Sabaton. But it's a different spelling and pronunciation, obviously. maybe. Oh no, those are gas stations. So if you're curious, a Hyundai Sonata can drive from Cumberland to Erie in a single tank of gas. I think it's I can't remember, 300 miles. So you can go. It's not quite, but you can go a long distance in a single tank of gas. Like, I think I can drive to Baltimore and back on a single tank of gas, but I'm gonna have to fill up when I get to Erie. But I don't have to stop for gas. That's the good news. Yeah, because there's not going to be time in the morning. Well, there might be time in the morning. So maybe the paucity of cars here is because people think they're saving time by driving on the turnpike. Like I said, it's only an extra, you only save 17 minutes, and then you pay $60 to get there 17 minutes faster, which is ridiculous. You know, why would you pay $60 to save 17 minutes on a 4-hour drive? You know? Tiger Lake State Park. A lot of state parks. I wish I could see them all. But that's like, I don't think I'll ever do it, maybe. But so it'd be really cool to, like, you know, see every state park in Maryland, for example. But it's not very practical unless you live like in the middle of the state, where all the state parks are, you know, about the same distance from each end of the state. So if you're on the western end, or anything on the eastern end is, you know, much further away. Alright, so we're like, I don't know, I think if I remember right, Morgantown is like 90 minutes, so 90 out of 40, 90 out of 4 hours. It's an hour and a half out of 4 hours. So by the time we get to Pennsylvania, we'll be halfway there basically, which is pretty cool. And I do really want those maps. So I love maps.
In 1 mile, keep right onto I-79 North.
I don't think this is it. Exit 1. I think it's probably exit 0 maybe. There should be a big sign if you're changing interstates. There we go. I used to drive this all the time. I used to have to commute.
Keep right onto I-79 North.
So I'd have to, not every day, but I'd have to drive up to Pittsburgh like once a month basically. And I would always go this way through Morgantown. I would never take the turnpike. I think I tried once, but no, this is way easier. That was before I had GPS. I would get lost a lot. So, yeah, this is a lot easier. You know, it's just one road the whole way, pretty much. Other than, you know, change highways in Morgantown, but that's about it. So, and then this goes all the way to Erie. So that's it. I'm like almost halfway there. So it's not too bad.
on I-79 North.
Just 44 miles. So, another big river. So that's why I don't know if I should point the camera to the side so you can see more of the scenery or straight. Because see, if it's pointing to the side, you're going to have a huge angular speed. Greatly increased angular speed. There's a bug in the car. Oh, ow, 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 ow. Okay, it's gone. It's on the window. So Washington County's nice. As if I had to live in Pennsylvania, Washington County would be a nice place to live. You know, it's not too expensive, but it's not too rural. You know, your commuting distance to Pittsburgh and Morgantown and Wheeling, but you're not so close that you have like the crime or the you know, high cost of living of being near a big city. Washington County would be a nice place to live, but so I was thinking, there you go, there's that smokestack. So it looks like a factory of some kind, I guess. I saw that smoke coming from a long distance away. So we're in Pennsylvania now, I think. Maybe. No, we're not in Pennsylvania. It says Morgantown. So by the time we get to Pennsylvania, we might be about halfway there. But it's going to be much safer. It's not even what's easier, it's what's safest. It's going to be much safer. I can actually get some sleep. So I didn't have any caffeine all day, so I'm hoping I can just go to sleep as soon as I get there. But you know, I'm all amped up with adrenaline because I'm anxious about the eclipse. So I don't know if that's actually adrenaline or whatever you call it. Wendy's, a lot of Wendy's restaurants. So don't eat at Chick-fil-A. A lot of Wendy's restaurants. I see if you see an Arby's, post in the comment if I missed it. It'd be too late, but for future reference. I should have, if I pull over, I could probably Google it. Where's the nearest Arby's? So I'm not quite hungry yet.